Good morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 10. Please subscribe. Today's lesson, my thoughts do not mean anything. And you're going to say, that sounds familiar, because we had lesson 4, which was these thoughts do not mean anything. And in that lesson, I interchanged between these thoughts and my thoughts. I like to take ownership of the thoughts as quickly as I can, so that once I feel that I'm responsible for them, I can change them. But we were told in lesson 4 that this is a major lesson and will be repeated from time to time. Well, today is the first time. So my thoughts do not mean anything. And this idea applies to all the thoughts of which you are aware or become aware in the practice periods. And it means all practice periods, not just the ones today. The reason the idea is applicable to all of them is that they are not your real thoughts. Back in lesson 4, we said, is this a good thought or a bad thought? Am I a good witch or a bad witch? But even the good thoughts, the ones that I think might be my real thoughts, again, they're simply a shadow, just a shadow of the glory and the magnificence that our real thoughts will have. We have made this distinction before and will do it again. You have no basis for comparison as yet. We don't have the realization. Our minds are untrained. When you do, you will have no doubt that what you once believed were your thoughts did not mean anything, because they were coming from a separated mind. And the separated mind has no firm foundation. Without a foundation, without a good foundation, there is nothing that is substantial about the thoughts or anything that comes from that thought system. Now, second paragraph. This is the second time we've used this kind of idea. As I said, the first time was about these thoughts. Now it's my thoughts. But there's no link made overtly between the things around you. The emphasis is now on the lack of reality of what you think you think. And I love that line, what you think you think. The thoughts that I think I'm thinking are about the things I think I see. That was, these thoughts. Now my thoughts, I'm going to go in. This is, again, a mind-searching exercise to go within. And what are my thoughts about this or that? The aspect of the correction process began with the idea that the thoughts of which you are aware are meaningless. Remember that word, meaningless, for the lesson, and outside rather than within. So we were before looking at everything outside of ourselves, but now we're going to look within, and then they stressed the past rather than their present status. So now we're bringing it to my thoughts, that what is here now, or what do I think is here now? Now we are emphasizing that the presence of these thoughts, it's in air quotes, means that you are not thinking. This is merely another way of repeating our earlier statement that your mind is really a blank. If I'm not thinking with God, I'm not thinking at all. So that's why these are thoughts that I think I'm thinking. Because if I'm not thinking with God, there is nothing real that is within my mind. It's really a blank space. Taylor Swift reference, I guess. To recognize this is to recognize nothingness when you think you see it. As such, it's the prerequisite for vision. And vision is, again, we've mentioned it at least once this year, vision is where we want to go. It is seen with the mind of Christ. It is not seen with body eyes. Seeing with body eyes is really seeing nothing, because what I'm seeing are illusions, which again come from a separate mind thought system. So there is nothing there. That's why the thoughts I think I'm thinking are about the things I think I see. Now, it tells us, again, close your eyes for these exercises, because we don't want to be distracted by what is around us. And then introduce the thoughts by repeating the idea for today slowly to yourself. Then add This idea will help to release me from all that I now believe. All that I now believe is what I am releasing. We are remembering, retraining. We are remembering to remember. This is what we are doing in these early exercises. It's the recognition that there really is nothing going on when I believe I am a separate entity and away from my Father, away from my celestial parent. You'll hear me say that often during the year. So the exercises consist, as before, in searching your mind for all the thoughts that are available to you without selection or judgment. Don't include or exclude. Again, try to avoid classification of any kind. In fact, if you find it helpful to do so, you might imagine that you are watching an oddly assorted procession going by, like a parade. Oh, they're working next door, so if you hear that. So the procession going by, which has little, if any, personal meaning to you. So as each thought crosses your mind in this procession, this parade that we are having within our mind, say that my thought about blank does not mean anything. My thought about flowers does not mean anything. My thought about workers doesn't mean anything. So today, these thoughts can obviously serve for any thought that distresses you at any time. Again, it's a practical course. Use this if anything is upsetting, distressing, off-putting. If anything occurs while you are going about your day, say to yourself, within your mind, that my thoughts about this do not mean anything. The practice periods, 5 practice periods during the course of the day: morning, when we first wake up, early afternoon, late afternoon, evening, before bed. 5. And it's a total of 5 minutes, 1 minute each. Search the mind for just a little bit of time. And if, again, as the lessons are saying, it's very gentle. If it feels uncomfortable, then stop. Don't allow yourself to get into the experience of discomfort, because that will completely distract you from what it is you're trying to do here. So remember, however, to repeat the idea slowly before applying it specifically, and also add this idea, my thoughts do not mean anything, will help to release me from all that I now believe. We are shifting our thought system, not sustainable. We're going to one that is real, one that has value to it. Everything that I'm currently seeing and thinking is meaningless. It's valueless, but I will not stay there. We will go together to what is real and what is true. And that's it for today, and I hope it helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment, please smile. We talked yesterday about all the many benefits of smiling, and someone else added, and it's good for your liver. So just add that onto the list of many good reasons to smile. Take in a deep breath, release it, and pray for the recognition of all the gifts, all the real thoughts that are on their way into your mind. Namaste.